You are 55 meters down, and the water is warm. Visibility is perfect, blue in every direction, soft light coming from somewhere above. Ahead of you is the mouth of a tunnel, and through it, the open sea glows pale and inviting. It looks close. It looks easy. And right now, something in your head goes quiet. A warmth. A sense that everything is fine. That you have all the time you need. That feeling is the first symptom of the thing that kills you here. 55 meters. Recreational diving stops at 40. You are already 18 stories deeper than the line you were trained never to cross, breathing ordinary air. And that air at this pressure has started working on your brain like a drug. It does not feel like danger. It feels like calm. You came down through a lagoon so gentle that tourists were snorkeling on the surface above you. From the shore, this place looks like somewhere you'd bring a child to swim. More people have died here than at any other dive site on Earth, and almost none of them were beginners. So why does the water that looks the safest take the ones who should know better? The place has a name. The Blue Hole, on the coast of the Red Sea, a few kilometers north of a small Egyptian town called Dahab. From the beach, it is one of the gentlest things you have ever seen. A round pool of clear water, ringed by reef, no waves, almost no current. You can walk in from the shore. People bring their kids and float on the surface with a mask and a snorkel, watching the coral. What they are floating on is a shaft in the seabed that drops straight down past 100 meters. There is a shallow lip near the shore, around 6 meters deep, that the divers call the saddle. Cross it, and the bottom simply isn't there anymore. The wall falls away beneath you into deep blue, and there is nothing to fix your eyes on. No slope, no landmark, no sense of how fast you are sinking. On the seaward side, the floor keeps going past 1,000 meters. Stack 3 Eiffel Towers under your fins, and the deepest one still doesn't reach the bottom, and not one of them gives you a single edge to judge your depth against. Divers have another name for this place: the Divers' Cemetery. And here's the part that doesn't fit. This is not a hard dive. There is no maze, no silt, no ceiling of rock pinning you under the earth. The water is warm and clear and calm. By the numbers, dozens of sites in the world are more technically demanding, and none of them kill like this one does. What this water is good at is something quieter. It makes the next few meters look like nothing. The open sea glows just over there. The bottom of the pool looks close enough to touch. The whole place whispers that you have margin you do not have. And people who have done 1,000 safe dives believe it. Some of the dead never dived at all. They were found on the surface, face down, snorkels still in place. No one has fully explained why. So the danger here is not the depth, and it is not the difficulty. It is how safe the water looks while it does it. Every person who died here looked at this pool and saw us swim. If you want to keep going down with us, into the places that don't look like a threat until it's far too late, subscribe and stay close. Because there is one part of this calm blue pool that does the actual killing. A tunnel, 55 meters down, that has taken more experienced divers than anything else in the water. The tunnel is called the Arch. It cuts through the wall of the pool and out into the open sea. And on paper, it sounds almost trivial. 26 meters long, the length of a swimming pool. A strong swimmer could cross that in well under a minute at the surface. This is not the surface. The ceiling of the arch sits at 55 meters down, and its far end opens over water that falls away to around 120 meters. To go through it, you commit to a depth where ordinary air has already started to poison your judgment. And the tunnel lies to you. The water is so clear and the light at the far end so bright that the arch looks shorter than it is. Your eye says you can glide through on one breath of effort. The real swim takes longer, and there is often a current pushing in against you, so you burn through your air faster than you planned, while the exit stays stubbornly the same distance away. Finding the entrance is its own trap. The opening doesn't sit in a straight line between the pool and the sea, so divers looking for it drift along the wall, searching. And the wall gives you nothing to measure yourself against. No slope, no markings. A diver hunting for the arch can keep sinking past it, deeper and deeper, with no visual cue that he is going the wrong way, until he is far below where he ever meant to be. There is a rule in the Red Sea that you do not breathe ordinary compressed air below 40 meters. Guides have been paid to look the other way. That limit exists because 15 meters past it, in narcosis, people stop coming back. Here's what some of them did in those final meters. As they sank, they reached for the valve to put air into the vest that would have floated them back up, and they opened the wrong one. They were venting the air that would have saved them, and they believed they were adding it. That is the thing this calm blue water does best. It waits until the depth has quietly switched the labels in your own head, until down feels like up and the wrong move feels like the right one. And we know exactly what that looks like from the inside, because one of the people it took was wearing a camera. His name was Yuri Lipsky. He was 22 years old, a Russian-Israeli diving instructor, and on the 28th of April 2000, he had been in Dahab for only a couple of days. He wanted footage of the blue hole. Before he went in, he spoke to a man named Tariq Omar, one of the most experienced divers in the town, who would later become known for a grim specialty we'll come back to. Omar told him the truth. To do this safely, Yuri needed 2 weeks of training first. 2 weeks! Yuri had a couple of days. He went in anyway, alone, on a single tank of air with no backup supply, against the direct advice of a man who knew exactly what this water did to people. And here's the part that cuts against the whole legend of this place. Yuri Lipsky never reached the arch. The famous tunnel, the one that takes the experts, had nothing to do with it. Somewhere in the descent, he lost control of his depth and simply kept going down the open wall, into that blue with no edges to grab onto, until he came to rest on the bottom. 115 meters down. Stand a 40-story tower on the seabed, and his resting place is the roof of it. On his head was a video camera, still running. You already know what this water does in those last meters. The depth quietly rewrites which way is up. The calm arrives exactly when the danger does. He had been warned in plain words that he was not ready. The water did not look like it cared. The camera kept recording the entire time. When his body was recovered the next day, the camera came up with it, and it was still working. That should not have been possible. The housing was rated to 75 meters. He died 40 meters deeper than the machine was ever built to survive, the height of a 13-story building below its breaking point, and the seal held when the man did not. We are not going to show you that recording. We won't describe what is on it. The footage exists, it has been seen, and that is all you need from it. Here is what stays with me. The man who recovered the camera said that if he had known what was on it, he would have flooded it on the bottom and let it die down there. He did not want the boy's mother to ever have it. If you want to keep going into the places the official record would rather you didn't look at too closely, subscribe and stay down here with us. Because Yuri Lipsky is one name. The wall above this pool is covered in others. And the question stops being how this water kills a reckless young man on his first serious dive. It becomes why it keeps taking the ones who knew far better than he did. To get from the parking area to the water, you walk past a wall of rock. Set into the rock, fixed to it with screws and cement, are plaques. Small ones mostly. Names, dates, a line of writing, sometimes in a language you don't read. A face on a few of them. The wall is not a memorial somebody put up once. It is added to by relatives and friends of divers who didn't come back, year after year. You pass that wall on the way in. Every diver who has ever attempted the arch has read those names before stepping into the pool. They read them, and they went anyway. No one keeps an official count of how many are on it. One technical diver based in Dahab, the same Tariq Omar who recovered the camera, estimated over 130 deaths in the 15 years between 1997 and 2012. Other estimates put the figure closer to 200. There is no authority that tallies them. There is just the wall, getting longer. Sit with the lower number for a second. More than 130 names in 15 years. That averages out to a new plaque, a new family making the trip to this beach in Egypt roughly every 6 or 7 weeks, year in and year out. The water just kept doing it on schedule. Now think about who most of those names belong to. Not tourists who slipped under by accident. Not the obviously reckless like Yuri Lipsky. The majority were experienced technical divers. Many were instructors themselves, the kind of people who teach the safety rules for a living. They had certifications. They had hundreds of dives behind them. They had read the same warnings on the same wall. and the water still took them. This is the part that does not fit the easy story. If this place killed only the unprepared, you could close the case and walk away. The unprepared make recognizable mistakes. But the experienced ones who died here knew the exact rules they were breaking and broke them anyway, in a place that looked like nothing was at stake. That is the trap this water has perfected. It feels like the rules don't apply to it. The pool is too gentle, the day is too warm, the locals on the surface are too relaxed. Somewhere on the way down, the seasoned diver thinks the same thing the tourist thinks looking at the surface. This isn't the kind of place that kills people. He has every reason to know better, he still thinks it. And the people who lived along this coast knew something was off about this place a very long time before any of them arrived. Bedouin fishermen worked the shoreline here for generations, and there are accounts that they avoided this particular pool. In local folklore, and this is folklore, not evidence, the Blue Hole is haunted by the ghost of a young woman who drowned herself there to escape an arranged marriage. The story is older than the dive industry. Whatever it is in this water that pulls people in, the people who lived next to it were watching it long before anyone wore a tank. So the wall is not a warning to the people who walk past it. It is a record, a list of everyone the calm blue pool has so far convinced, and it is not finished. Ask anyone in the diving community what the Blue Hole actually does, and one phrase comes up again and again. It does not kill divers, it exposes them. Their preparation, their discipline, their ego. The water is just the place where the answer becomes final. That is a different statement than it sounds. A cave kills you with hazards you can name. Walls, ceilings, cold, silt. The danger is loud the moment you enter, and it stays loud the whole way down. Fear arrives at the doorway, and it never leaves your shoulder. This pool gives you none of that. The water is 20-something degrees. The sun is on the surface. There are children laughing on the shore behind you. Nothing in your senses is asking you to be afraid. And then there is the second lie, the one that works deeper than your senses. Below roughly 30 meters, the ordinary air you are breathing starts acting on your brain like an anesthetic. The condition is called nitrogen narcosis, and the cruel thing about it is the way it presents. For many divers, it doesn't feel like impairment. It feels like a quiet confidence, a sense that the dive is going well, that the next few meters are nothing, that the people who warn about this stuff are being dramatic. A diver under narcosis often believes he is the clearest-headed person in the water. He is not. His judgment, his motor control, his ability to read his own gauges, all of it is slipping at the exact moment he stops being able to notice it slipping. The warning bell is wired to the wrong circuit. It rings as a feeling of safety. So picture the trap closing. The surface tells you this is a swim. The depth tells you that you are fine. Two separate channels of information, two separate lies, both arriving at the same conclusion at the same time. By the moment a diver realizes something is wrong, he is already in a place where the realization cannot save him. That is the difference. In a flooded cave, the fear shows up at the entrance. In this water, it never shows up at all. And that is the body count. This part, why specifically the experienced ones keep falling for it, when they know about narcosis, when they teach it to other people, is not fully understood. There are theories. Confidence built on hundreds of safe dives in similar-looking water, none of which were this place. The pressure of being watched, of being the one who can make it look easy. The simple wrongness of a dive that whispers nothing is at stake while quietly taking everything that is. No one has cleanly answered it. The water shows you a calm surface. Your brain at depth shows you a calm mind. And somewhere between those two, the most prepared people in the world keep agreeing with what they are being shown. So this is what the water does. It puts a wall of names at the entrance and lets you walk past it. It takes a 22-year-old who was told in plain words that he was not ready and lets him into a pool that looked like a swim. It takes a camera built to survive 75 meters and brings it back from 115, while the person carrying it does not come back at all. Every one of them looked at the same calm blue surface, and every one of them agreed with what they saw. Picture it one more time. You are 55 meters down. The wall of names is somewhere above you. On dry rock you can no longer see. Ahead of you is the mouth of the arch, and through it, the open sea is glowing pale and close enough to touch. The water is warm. Visibility is perfect. Inside your head, that quiet, steady feeling has not left you. The one that arrived a few minutes ago and has been telling you since that everything is fine.
It doesn't look like a place where people die. That is exactly why they do.
Most of the dangerous things in your own life will not look the way you expect them to. They will not have warning signs or skull markers or names carved into the stone you walk past. They will look like a quiet afternoon, a familiar route, a decision you have made 100 times before. The question worth keeping is, which of those calm surfaces in your week you are still agreeing with on faith? If you want to keep going to the places that don't announce themselves, stay down here with us. There is always deeper water.